Artists are making amazing images of Jesus as gay or Jesus as female, but they're being censored and destroyed by conservative Christians. So I decided to compile them into a book so they would be available for everyone to see. My book, Art That Dares, is full of color pictures by 11 different contemporary artists from the United States and Europe. And in addition, the artists tell their stories in the book, and my introduction puts it all into political and historical perspective, exploring issues of blasphemy and artistic freedom. Being named a Lammy finalist is a real honor, and it also can make you a target for homophobia. I had an ugly experience recently when I was getting ready for tonight's reading, because I decided to get some business cards made, especially for the Lammies, to hand out tonight and at the awards ceremony, with my website's logo, jesusandlove.org, because it has a lot of information about the book. So simple, right? Get your business card printed. Not when it's a queer Christian book. I called a printer that had done a lot of printing work for my life partner. And at first he said, fine, he would do the job. Then the next day he wrote to me and said he visited my website and he was refusing to do the job because he's a born-again Christian. That was his reason. Yes. So the artists in this book have a much more inclusive and diverse idea of what it means to be a follower of Christ, and not all the artists are Christian. Some are looking at it from a secular point of view or from a Buddhist point of view. So I want to share with you some of what got the born-again Christians and others upset. So I'll start by reading from the introduction. Two dramatic new visions are coming into consciousness, the gay Jesus and the woman Christ. They break gender rules and gender roles. Their very presence stirs controversy. These radically new Christ figures empower and embody and empower people who are left out when Jesus is shown as a straight man. They can free the minds of everyone who sees them. Artists who dare to show Christ as gay or female have had their work destroyed if they can find a way to exhibit it at all. Now, for the first time, these beautiful, powerful, sometimes shocking images are gathered together for all to see. Art That Dares features the work of 11 brave, visionary artists who portray the gay Jesus, the woman Christ, and more. Here they tell the stories behind the images, including the controversies that erupted when the art was exhibited. In some cases, the artists faced censorship, hate mail, violence, death threats, and or vandalism that destroyed their work. Many were accused of blasphemy. Religious freedom clashed with freedom of expression, raising important legal issues. The most virulent opposition came from the religious right, but some were also criticized by feminists and queers for being too Christian. The images are arriving now because the conventional Jesus is no longer adequate. They're here for a reason, to heal and empower people, just as Jesus did when he walked the earth. The new images come at a time when hypersexual commercialism is ripping apart sexuality and spirituality. They arrive in a politically conservative period when Christian rhetoric is used to justify hate and discrimination against women and lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender people. The gay Jesus and the female Christ are not a reaction, they're a revelation. Now I'm going to reveal, I brought along one of the actual prints from the book.
Oh! I like that.
Yeah, this is actually the first one that got me excited about the topic. This is Jesus and Lord Rama, the Hindu god, by Alex Donis. He's a Los Angeles artist. He's the only Los Angeles artist in the book. And you're lucky to be able to see this in a print form, because the original, which was painted on a lit up box of plexiglass, was destroyed when it was exhibited in San Francisco.
Oh, San Francisco.
San Francisco, yes, in the Mission District in the 90s. So I'm going to read a little more of that story. Alex Donis wanted to show what forgiveness looks like. The Los Angeles artist imagined enemies kissing in same-sex pairs. He began sketching his favorite political, religious, and pop icons, then matching each one with a partner of the same sex but opposite viewpoint. Jesus and a Hindu god, Martin Luther King Jr. and a Klansman, Mother Teresa and pop star Madonna. And here's one of Mary Magdalene and the Our Lady of Guadalupe. Donis was familiar with contradictions from his own tricultural identity, pop, queer, and Latino. Then I'm going to skip ahead of his creative process and tell what happened when it was exhibited. Heated arguments, this was in August 1997, heated arguments erupted in the gallery, followed by threatening phone calls and letters, and then physical violence. Vandals threw rocks and traffic barriers through the gallery windows. Not once, but twice in 3 weeks. They smashed 2 of the artworks. First this one, Jesus and Rama, and then one that was Che Guevara and Cesar Chavez. Donis flew to San Francisco after each attack to mark the boarded up windows with flowers and a statement affirming the right to freedom of expression. If these works had to be sacrificed for the cause of getting people to talk, then that's a worthy way to go for a work of art, Donis told the San Francisco Examiner at the time. And people did talk. A crowd of more than 200 discussed the controversy with Donis at a special community meeting called for that purpose. It was a chance for dialogue about artistic and religious freedom, and also about homophobia in the Latino community. Sermons at neighborhood churches urged tolerance. My Cathedral became the best attended show since the Galleria was founded. And there are lots more fascinating stories in this book. I feel I'm sharing the award in a way with all these artists because they really touched my life and other people's lives too. Each one of them followed their vision even in the face of opposition, and I take that as an inspiration and a role model in my life, and even in small things like fighting to get a business card. So I kept looking until I found a printer who would print them. I've got them here if anybody wants one later. And thank you for being an audience who dares to learn about the gay Jesus.
Okay, our next reader is